Toronto's budget chief, Shelley Carroll, is with us live now. She's also the city councillor for Don Valley North. Hi, Ms. Carroll. Good to have you on the program. Thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you so much, Vassy.
I wanted to start off and just ask if, since this announcement this morning and the request of the feds, or the very formalized, I guess, request of the feds, you've heard anything from the federal government in response.
Well, not me directly. I've been doing things like we're doing right now all day long, communicating with the community and through you. But I will say this, councillors and their local MPs are already talking about this as they begin to ask for the details. And the conversation that is direct between the political and staff arms of the federal government with the mayor's office have really been in earnest since October, November, trying to grapple with this problem. We've had a historic new deal struck with the province of Ontario with Premier Doug Ford. But at that table, the federal government arrived and was at that table, and we were very clear in highlighting what we thought was their most important role, and that is helping us accommodate all of the asylum-seeking and refugee claimant newcomers into the country. We're happy to serve those people, and we know that the country needs them. That's a big part of filling the labor shortage, and everyone understands that. But we need the federal government to step up to their responsibility to fund those efforts.
Have you ever, I guess, had the impression that they won't? I know they provided some interim emergency funding as far as specifically for the shelter of refugees. I know that Mayor Chow had said that more money was required and that you've outlined the exact figure now. Have they said at any point, we're not going to provide that money?
Well, no, it's really a matter of continuing to ask for more detail and more conversation about it, because I think they're really trying to grapple with the fact that under their policy, this may be an ongoing expense. We may be talking about $250 million annually. And while they have been a great partner in things like investing in infrastructure, things that have a beginning and a middle and an end, this is an ongoing situation that requires their ongoing support. And so what we're asking for is a really enhanced partnership over and above the type we've had in the past.
Is there any reason that those conversations could not have continued behind the scenes, or even through, interviews like ones the mayor has conducted in the past on this program or other programs? Why does it need to result in the kind of ultimatum that the city issued today, and ultimately on the backs of taxpayers?
Well, I'll tell you, the reason you hear Mayor Chow saying she's hopeful is it really comes down to calendar days and just not getting to the deadline. We, in fact, really had a rush this week because we made a commitment to the community to be launching the budget today, January 10th. And all along, between the city manager and public servants in Ottawa, there's been a conversation of, we appreciate you have a deadline, and we'll try to figure out how we're going to proceed by then. But we just came up against that deadline. And so what we've had to do is proceed with the process so that we can begin to listen to residents of Toronto. And so what we've released is a balanced budget, and it is a significant property tax increase. We're not alone amongst municipalities in really struggling to draw a line under all of those post-pandemic holdovers and carryovers, get those off the books, and really show the true amount that is going to take to deliver the services that people really rely on in times like these. And so that's what that initial budget is about, 9% on the operating side, continuing on with repairs and essential building through the city building fund of 1.5%. But over and above that is the future of being able to serve people as they arrive in Toronto, to make sure that they get the kind of good start that gets them into housing quickly, gets them into employment quickly.
Right.
We need the federal government to step up to that. So what we've done is highlighted that is over and above this budget.
Is it not fair, though, that to sort of characterize what the federal government has done over the last 8 years as stepping up? Their initial transfer in 2015 to the City of Toronto was about $200 million. This year, federal government officials say that it's expected to be more than $2 billion. That's a significant increase already. Can you understand their concern about handing over more? Ultimately, another taxpayer, the same taxpayer, pays for that too.
Well, I do understand that, except that those are amounts of money that are on the infrastructure side. They are, investing in transit, which we're all doing together. Whenever they make those investments in building housing, in building transit, we bring forward our share as well. As you know, in most municipalities, things are done by funding arriving that is a third, a third, and a third. And so Torontonians are contributing now for all the infrastructure, using their property tax dollars, but also their income tax dollars. But what we have here now is a pressure that is very much created by provincial policy and very much the kind of thing that amounts to the redistribution of wealth. We simply don't have access to the types of tools that really do redistribution of wealth, that being income tax. And so we're asking them to accept that this is not so much infrastructure as an operating responsibility that we can't shoulder with conventional property tax dollars indefinitely.
And can you assure Toronto taxpayers right now that your administration has done, or that the administration, I should say, has done all it can to find its own savings before asking for more money from the federal government?
Well, we are very proud of what we've done on that side. In the city of Toronto, the highest amount of efficiencies and cost avoidances is included in a one-year budget, $620 million worth of those efficiencies and cost avoidances. Staff really rolled up their sleeves before recommending this budget to make sure that we were both finding all of the efficiency, making services as lean as we could, but still continuing to deliver those services. Because what we heard from our community throughout the month of November, we went on a road show directed by the mayor as soon as she was elected. And during that road show, what we heard is, in hard times, I need your services to be there. I rely on them. As a Torontonian, I want to see those services. And in fact, there's some we need you to invest in. Safe and reliable transit. Keep making progress on affordable housing. And we need a safe community now more than ever. It's important to remember that we started this consultation in November. And so that means post the Israeli-Gaza conflict, and people are very concerned about safety and what's going on in the community. We've made investments where we need to. At the same time, funding it as much as we can off our own backs with $620 million in efficiencies.
And I certainly understand the desire for services and the need to pay for those services. But this hike is a substantial one, the biggest one in 20 years. If it becomes 16.5%, it's even more substantial at a time when interest rates are at a multi-decade high, where the cost of living in other areas is extremely expensive as well. I heard the mayor today talk about how she inherited, quote unquote, a financial mess, and that's what this is due to, and that this is to fix that. Can we take from that tax hikes of this magnitude won't happen in subsequent years?
That's very much our hope. At the moment, we know that the provincial New Deal will definitely help us in that regard. In terms of being able to invest in infrastructure, the provincial New Deal that uploads highways back to the province that were costing us a significant amount in both capital and operating now become a provincial responsibility, and the fine point of that deal is being inked. But they also gave us some of the monies that we're using to invest in safe and reliable transit. And so we really can say to people that through the provincial deal, we have things that are going to improve our budget, not just this year, but over time. And so you're going to start to see, if we make this substantial investment this year, that 9% on the operating side, another 1.5% on the capital side, we really are working to continue the line-by-line hunt for efficiency so that we can see this city finance picture getting better and better year over year. But that's only going to be possible if the federal government relieves that immediate pressure that we have from their policies.
And does it require them to relieve it, as you've sort of outlined earlier, on an annual basis in order to keep hikes below, again, 10.5% or 16.5%?
Absolutely, because we really believe that will be best for the nation. We have wonderful people coming to the city of Toronto, coming from places that no one wants them to stay in if they're not safe. But once they're here, they can really help us address some of the employment shortage we have, help us address economic growth in Canada, but only if we don't see them trapped in the shelter system. So we need to be able to serve them well and give them a good start, and then they will start to help us recover our economy. But that's going to require this partnership.
Okay, Ms. Carroll, I'll leave it there. I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.